Walking into a busy clinical shift and relying on unstructured observation leaves massive gaps in your patient data. To capture a complete clinical picture, we replace that chaos with a systematic chronological assessment. The goal is to execute a flawless, top-down bodily investigation, and that process always starts at the epicenter of control, the head. First, we establish a neurological baseline by asking the patient 4 orienting questions, asking their name, their current location, the current date, and why they are being seen. If they answer all 4 correctly, they are alert and oriented times 4, documented as AOX4. This close-up schematic demonstrates a key cranial nerve check, the mechanical constriction of a pupil when exposed to a directional beam of light. We categorize this visual data using the acronym PERLA. We check for pupil equality, roundness, reactivity, and accommodation. We follow this with secondary facial checks. We palpate the sinuses, verify that the nasal passages are patent, and inspect the oral mucosa for physical abnormalities. By securing the head and verifying neurological status first, we confirm that the patient's cognitive baseline is stable. That ensures we can trust their subjective feedback for the remainder of the investigation. Moving down to the cervical region, we palpate the neck to map the lymph nodes and the thyroid gland, and inspect the trachea to ensure strict structural symmetry. Looking at this cross-section of a neck artery, we can contrast normal smooth blood flow against the turbulent chaotic flow caused by a physical restriction. To detect that turbulence, a brew, we use the bell of the stethoscope over the carotid artery. But respiratory sounds from nearby expanding lungs create acoustic masking. To prevent data contamination, ask the patient to hold their breath while listening. These cervical checks act as a critical early warning system. They allow us to identify structural blockages in the neck before they restrict blood flow enough to cause brain injury. Entering the thoracic cavity, the dense anatomy of the region makes it difficult to isolate overlapping cardiovascular sounds. This diagram maps out the precise anatomical sequence required to properly assess the heart. We follow a strict 5-point pattern: aortic, pulmononic, Erb's point, tricuspid, and mitral. To accurately capture this data, we use the diaphragm of the stethoscope to listen for primary mechanical heart sounds and the apical pulse, switching to the bell to detect deeper abnormalities like murmurs. Transitioning to the pulmonary network, we apply a fundamental investigative rule. We must continuously compare breath sounds on the left side directly against the right side. When listening to the posterior thorax, we track a specific pathway. We start at the apex, right above the scapula, then travel down the midline from C7 to T3, finishing at the bases down to T10. Adhering to this rigid geographical listening matrix guarantees we isolate localized mechanical failures within the cardiopulmonary engine, like decreased or adventitious breath sounds. The abdominal cavity introduces a unique operational hazard. If you assess this region out of order, you ruin your own diagnostic data. This flowchart illustrates the mandatory abdominal sequence. You must visually inspect, auscultate, and only then palpate. If you suspect absent bowel sounds, strict constraints require listening continuously for 3 to 5 minutes before documenting. Once the auscultation is complete, we palpate. Using the flat, palmar aspect of the fingers, in a gentle circular dipping motion, we physically map the abdomen to detect muscle guarding or rigidity. Pressing on the abdomen before listening can artificially stimulate the intestines. Violating the look, listen, feel sequence actively manufactures false data and renders the entire abdominal assessment useless. Extending outward to the extremities, we hunt for asymmetrical edema, any skin abnormalities, and structural deformations. Watch this finger press onto a nail bed until it turns white, then release as color rapidly flushes back to pink. That process, capillary refill, tests the mechanical integrity of the peripheral vascular system. We combine this with kinetic assessment protocols, testing the full range of motion for each joint, and grading raw muscle strength on a standardized scale of 0 to 5. These peripheral checks serve as the final proof that the central cardiovascular engine is effectively pumping blood and sustaining the furthest edges of the body. This schematic of a human foot highlights a highly specific vulnerability in diabetic patients. You must rigorously inspect the hidden zones between toes for pus and micro-ulcerations. Following a strict top-to-bottom sequence enforces discipline. It structurally eliminates the possibility of skipped variables, ensuring every bodily system is methodically evaluated. With the physical data gathered, your final directive is to translate these findings into a documented medical record. For tools to optimize your ongoing clinical studies, you can access comprehensive resources at simplenursing.com. Executing a disciplined, chronological physical assessment removes clinical guesswork entirely. It transforms a chaotic medical shift into a controlled, predictable, and life-saving